Calm Belly TV. If you're new around here, I'm Julie, and my website is calmbellykitchen.com. And if you saw the little announcement in the group today, I am talking about portion sizes. So that's going to be the topic. I'm going to talk about how you, kind of one of the gray areas of the FODMAP diet, which is getting portion sizes right, especially when it comes to fresh produce, so fruit and veggies, and how I sort of approach that in like a really kind of simple, common sense way. And it definitely takes some time to sort of get into the rhythm and figure it out, but it can be done. And you don't have to pull out a calculator and start like, you know, doing everything in grams and measuring your exact portion sizes and trying to like develop an algorithm for FODMAP content of your vegetables. No, you do not have to do that. And I'm gonna just kind of talk you through how I approach it and hopefully just take some of the stress away around portion sizes. All right. So let's get started. So portion sizes, when it comes to fruits and veggies, can seem really almost impossible to deal with at first, because when you're using the Monash app to check your serving sizes, it will say, okay, this is a yellow light, so you know you should only eat moderate servings of this vegetable. But then you look, and a smaller portion size is green light, so it's low FODMAP. So the problem arises when you're trying to actually combine foods and you're not just eating one thing at a time, which, you know, nobody is doing that. So how do you approach having more than one low FODMAP veggie or fruit, or how much of each one do you have, okay? So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. So the way the Monash app works is they give you, their one serving is a typical serving size, okay? So a full serving, if it's 1 cup, that's based on kind of how the way the USDA, and I mean, of course, they're in Australia, but the way that all that the nutritional, you know, databases are structured, they're usually based off of like a 100-gram system, and it doesn't make sense sometimes. So the way that they come up with their serving sizes isn't necessarily going to always make sense, but you can learn to see how they're doing it and see the pattern of it, and that'll help you use the app more easily, okay? So the other thing to remember is that the Monash app is always giving you the serving size for raw vegetables and fruit. So if they say 1 cup of spinach, that's the spinach leaves, you know, not cooked spinach. That's just something to remember. And sometimes those servings can seem small. Like if they say a serving of red cabbage is 1 cup, that's raw cabbage. So when you cook it down, it's a lot smaller. So keep that in mind. There are so many differences, right? So some vegetables and fruits are just higher in FODMAPs than others, even though a certain serving size is considered low FODMAP. So for an example of what I mean by that is broccoli is low FODMAP at a ½ cup serving. It is high FODMAP if you have 1 full cup serving, okay? So that's a vegetable that you should sort of watch out for. So if you're going to have a ½ cup of broccoli, which is low FODMAP, you might not want to combine that with another vegetable that's on the higher end of the FODMAP spectrum. So like, let's look at eggplant now. So eggplant is low FODMAP for a ½ cup serving, and it's high FODMAP for 2¼ cups. So think about it this way. If I eat a ½ cup, okay, great, it's low FODMAP. What if I eat 1½ cups? That's still pretty low, because it doesn't get to the high FODMAP category until you eat 2¼ cups, all right? I'm gonna stop saying numbers because your eyes are probably glazing over, and I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to highlight the kind of the differences. Not all veggies are kind of created equal. So let's make this practical. If you wanna make a stir fry and you wanna combine a few different veggies, let's say you love broccoli and cabbage and eggplant, all right? So you're gonna make sure you have just a ½ cup of broccoli, maybe even a little less. For the cabbage, maybe you're gonna have 3/4 cup, because that's, you know, kind of smaller than the 1 cup serving. And then you're gonna have a cup of eggplant, because that's a pretty low FODMAP vegetable. So you wouldn't wanna do broccoli, cabbage, and butternut squash, because those are kind of all on the higher side. So when you're combining things and you want to eat a lot of veggies, you want to sort of check which ones are fairly low in FODMAP content, okay? So when the high FODMAP number is like 4 times the low FODMAP number, like eggplant, then that's a lower overall FODMAP content. All right, so if you have any questions about that, I know it's kind of hard to just have me, talk about it on camera. It's technical stuff. There's a lot of gray areas. And the other thing is that almost every vegetable and fruit is kind of different. And so that's why it really does pay to spend time looking at that app and seeing the differences, seeing the ones that are on the low FODMAP side, like eggplant, seeing the ones that are closer to the high FODMAP side, like broccoli, okay? So that's where I'm going with that. So let's say you want to have a salad. A lot of people ask me this question. So my rule of thumb, and this is just what I get from practical experience, working with clients, my own experience, and the servings on the Monash app are, I like to keep it to about 2 cups total. So if this is for a salad as a meal. If you're just having a little side salad, that shouldn't be a big deal. It's going to be small enough that you don't have to worry, and if you're using all low FODMAP veggies, you should be fine. But say you just love to have a salad for lunch. So what I like to say is about a cup of greens, whatever that is, lettuce, arugula, spinach, and you can mash that in. You can have a good cup of greens, and then a cup of extra veggies. So maybe that is red bell peppers, cucumbers, and tomatoes, and all of that combined is approximately a cup. And I think that's a pretty good place to start when you're talking about portion sizes and you want to have a nice big salad as a meal. So what I have made to help you guys make this even easier and actually visualize it is some worksheets, and they're menu planning templates, okay? So what I did is I see people wondering what to eat and how to eat throughout the day in different situations. So I made you guys a template that shows you how you can plan your meals if you want to have a salad for lunch or dinner, like as a meal. So I kind of show you the strategy behind that, which is to kind of not eat so many fruits during the day, because fruit can kind of trigger IBS symptoms more than most other foods can, for most people, not for everyone. But you kind of would stick to 1 serving of fruit during the day and eat it earlier in the day, which is when it's usually easier for your body to handle, and it's not as likely to trigger symptoms. So that's the strategy if you are someone who wants to eat a salad as a meal. And I have a template that shows you, like, okay, so for breakfast you can have 2 servings of grains and a serving of protein, and then for lunch you can have this, and then for dinner you can have a salad, and it should be this many servings. And so then I have a template for what you can eat if you just want to have as many fruits and vegetables in your day as possible. Because a lot of you are saying to me that you feel unhealthy because you're not eating, your 9 a day or however many the recommended amount of produce actually is. And just to note, that changes all the time. I think nutrition science itself is constantly evolving, so you're not unhealthy. You're going to be okay if you reduce your veggie intake to, test out your tolerance and kind of try to manage your IBS. So you are going to be okay. But I have a template that shows you how you can space out your servings and, like, keeping the fruit earlier in the day, how you can space it out so that you can add in as many low FODMAP fruits and vegetables as possible and still maintain your symptoms and not kind of build up too much of a FODMAP load, I guess, throughout the day. And of course, these are just templates. These are a starting point. So the thing is, we don't always have a starting point, and that can be hard. You don't know what to do, and you're just scrolling through the Monash app wondering if you'll ever eat another salad again. So these templates are at least supposed to give you a place to start, and then you can kind of change it and go from there. Maybe you can eat more vegetables than I recommend. Maybe you have to eat a little less. So you can get these templates because I'm going to do a live workshop next week. And you sign up for the workshop, I send you the templates. If you don't want to come to the workshop, you don't have to, you still get the templates. But you should come because I'm going to walk you through it and give you examples and explain how you can kind of tweak it and personalize it and change it around a little bit. So the templates are actually part of my new program, Flat Belly Kitchen, which is the group coaching program to get you through the elimination phase in 6 weeks. And if you're in the program, I created a workbook with 6 templates and a guide to serving sizes that you get as just part of the 2nd week of the program. And I've got tons more resources that go along with that program. This is just one little segment for week 2. But as a freebie for everybody who signs up for the workshop, I'm giving you 3 of the templates because I know that portion sizes and just figuring out how much and what you can combine is a real challenge, especially when you're first starting out and you're trying to just like get into a rhythm with the elimination phase and see if it really works and see if you can really get your symptoms under control. So yeah, I hope you've joined me for the workshop. It's totally free. We're going to go through the templates. I'm going to talk a little bit about my program, Flat Belly Kitchen. So if you are, all right, so if there are no questions, I will sign off. I hope you guys all have a fantastic Wednesday night. Thanks for joining me, and thanks if you're watching the replay. If some of the portion stuff isn't making sense, and if I did not adequately explain it, please ask a question and I will come back and answer your question. All right? Have a good night, you guys.